So today we are talking about my new release and releases in general. So let's see what I pick and what I have picked because I've already picked it. So yeah, let's go from there. So today we're kind of talking a little bit about releases, what I've learned from like a little bit of research and the people here at the archery shop, which I might even go have them talk to us for a little bit. This is my old release, which is actually kind of very similar to this one. I can't remember, this is a True Fire. I know I can probably find a model, but this is probably like one of the #1 releases that people use. And this is what I started with like 12 years ago. And super, super easy to use. I mean, literally, all you do is it has this little trigger right here, and you open it, and you put it around the D loop. And I mean, I had no problems with it for a long time. Mine, it was a little bit different. Like this one looks like it's a lot more easy, like you can adjust it slightly. But if I had that one, I would show you, but I kind of accidentally broke it, which is why I need a new release. But no, I had like no complaints, and I used it consistently. But kind of a few things that were happening even with mine, and this is kind of like the same thing. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a small little gap in between the teeth right there. And that just kind of happens with like wear and tear and all the parts that come with, you know, a release like this. And the other thing too is like it kind of wears down the D loop a little bit faster than like what other releases that I'm kind of looking at. But there's 4 different types of archery releases. The first one is a wrist index finger release, which is probably one of the most common types that I've seen personally. Not that like what everyone uses, but I know that they're definitely like really, really, really popular. That type of release is the one that I originally showed you. And so yeah, I really loved using that. The next type is a thumb button release. I have one right here. This is the STAN OnneX, I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know if that's correctly how you pronounce it, but this is just one from the shop. But I kind of really like the design of this one. Basically all it is it has like a little tension lock, so you lock it, put your D loop into there, and it kind of clips on and holds it. And once you're ready to fire, all it does is you just press back on this release and boom, it releases. And I really like the look of this, but every single time you have to, you know, you have to cock it like that just so it holds the string in place. This is definitely becoming a lot more popular. I'm seeing a lot more people using a release like this. So I don't really know about the last two. One is a tension, and from what it sounds like, once you get to the correct drawback length, as you continue to pull through, that tension is what causes it to break free and it sends your arrow. I've seen that a lot more in like the Olympics, and the last one was like a hinge, very similar, but once you get to the back part of it, this part would rock out of as you pull through, that hinge is gonna snap and send the arrow. I could be completely wrong of how it works. I'm not an expert, I'm still learning, and I might eventually try to figure out if I can get my hands on one of those last two. But I think like for the common ones that I'll probably look for, it will be the thumb button release or an index finger. I actually have already picked out the one I'm going to get. And it's not for like a reason like, oh, it's the best and this is what you should get, but I got it because it fit like my price point, and it kind of also is something I'm very used to. Now, this also came from the range. This is the B3 Archery Claw. I'm pretty positive this is like the older model, because the new, I think there's a little bit more like tension adjustments that you can get, but it is really nice. Same thing, kind of like the trigger or the thumb button is it has this loop here, and as you clip it on and you pull it through, it holds tension. Once you're ready, it snaps. And a lot of people are kind of switching to releases with the hook instead of like the 2-finger pincher, because it saves your D loop and it's really, really easy. Like when you're ready to shoot, you just hook it around, pull it back and release. There's not like having to try and open up the pincher, put it on, reclose the pincher if it's not spring loaded. And yeah, so it's kind of just a really nice, easy design. The new model of this, I believe, has a spring, so it locks back into place automatically. This one, if it's not all the way in, all I had to do is just push it. But this is my current release. But I think it's very interesting because eventually I'd love to shoot with some of these, This will probably always be like a backup maybe, but for the time being, I probably won't get one of these just because I don't really see a huge need, and maybe I'll have like a friend let me borrow one of theirs, and yeah, but I'm just borrowing this from the range today just to test it out. So let me hold this next to the microphone. It just sounds nice. I think it always just goes to show though, like it doesn't really matter what type of release you use. There's always gonna be like some type of like drawback to performance of a certain release or what type of characteristics you're looking for. I think eventually the main thing I'll really look for, because people still love and swear by index finger releases, but what I would love is to be able to adjust the tension easier or make it more custom to how I want to shoot. But yeah, I think whatever you're trying to do really doesn't matter a whole bunch. Now, a couple things that drew me to this release in general was the adjustability of it. All along here are different screw points that I can actually take and go along the barrel and adjust it this way, but even up into where like the claw mechanism actually is, there's a few more points. So if I really want to shorten it down to get to my like comfort level, this thing is like super easy to adjust. All you have to do is take your bow tool and loosen this up and just slide the head up and down to get it. Also, if you really don't want this to rotate too much, you can also kind of tighten it down to make it a little bit more customized to you. Is this a crazy expensive release? No, I think this, like, I got mine on sale for like 40 bucks, which is kind of one of the reasons why it drew me to it. But, you know, because I'm still on a budget, I'm still trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. I don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on something that I won't use and I don't like. But yeah, today we're just gonna fling some arrows. I'm gonna test and break it and give you my opinion of what this is. So the first release we're gonna use is the thumb button, just because this isn't mine. I want to take it back to the people up front really quickly. Whew, I'm a little nervous. Should be a piece of cake though. A lot of people swear by these. I know a ton of people who have them, so put my here we go. Let's see. Ooh, I like it. Need to make sure I have my anchor points on there, but I do like how it doesn't kind of reset it. This obviously isn't broken in just yet, but okay, let's try this again. It's pretty nice. I really like that, the responsiveness of it. Like once I hit it, I mean it sends it. It's pretty impressive. I might have to invest in one of these. Huh. The one thing that I will tell you about using this, especially because I'm not used to it, I do feel like there's a lot more of my hand pulling it as well. Like with the index finger release, it's typically most of the time on like a wrist strap, and you kind of like can hold the entire release all the way through, and I don't feel like all that tension is just on like my fingers a lot of the time. And this isn't bad, but it's just something to like keep in mind. Make sure, oh, see? Make sure it's released. Put it on there. Huh. A little inconsistent, but this isn't my release. I do like it though. Something to really think about, like, and obviously if this was be mine, let me show you. Now, one thing that I think is kind of cool is if you see right here, all of that, like I can totally like adjust to fit my finger. Like I can either make this go forward a little more or back a little bit more. So I can really adjust these. And that's the one thing I really like about like archery equipment in general is like the adjustability of most things nowadays, like between the bows, the draw lengths, the releases. I mean, everything just is so like universal. Like even, it looks like I can even bring down, like there's one more screw in here behind that I can take and here, let me release this, there's even like one more screw piece right in here that I can even adjust. So, I mean, this is a stellar piece of technology, honestly. This is technology for bows. But I really do like the way this looks as well. Like super clean. But yeah, let me go down there, let me grab those arrows, and let me put a few more rounds through it. And you can see, like, definitely, I mean, that's the first 3 arrows of the day. I'm not like super impressed, but like, it's just me. It's not the release at all. One thing I do think is kind of cool is that, so I'm set, and I see a lot of people do this, is that they'll take these releases and they'll just take, if I can get it on, they'll just hang it from their D-loop until they're actually ready to shoot. Because it's not gonna slide out of there, but I think that's definitely something if you're really just trying to leave all your stuff together until you're ready to shoot. That is super, super convenient. Okay, so I'm gonna grab, pull back. Reset it. Not doing too hot today. Huh. It's nice. And definitely takes some time to get used to and to build those muscles. But I mean, yeah, no. It would take some time. I don't mind it. I think it's definitely a unique style of release. Definitely, I can see why people will really like that. One more. Last one. Don't know what I hit. I thought it was my arrow at first, but it's not. Must have been something in the back. Freaked me out. I was like, what the heck? But even just the couple minutes of me using this, I'm feeling a lot better with how it works. And that grouping is a lot better. I mean, I still have a lot to do, but I mean, it goes 1, 2, 3. 3 was more center. If I was more used to it and like I had better anchor points with it, I'm pretty positive if I just simply move this entire sight down, I would have a killer grouping. So yeah, no, I'm pretty impressed with the thumb button release. It is super nice, and I really don't mind how it feels like as you take and you draw it back. Like, it is definitely something to get used to, but especially if you're doing like, this isn't sky drawing, but if you take and you start and you drop it down, having it be here definitely feels really, really like comfortable. So yeah, I don't mind it. I think that this is something I might invest in the future, but let's use the release that I actually bought and talk about why I like it so much more than like the original True Fire that I had. All right, now we're going to be using my new release. This is the, oh shoot, this is the B3 Claw. This, I really like it. I think it really suits me. While I am really intrigued now about getting a thumb button release, I think like for the time being, like as a release that's super repeatable for me, that I can just shoot and shoot and shoot, like totally worth it. So yeah, I'm just gonna take and just slide everything over just a little bit. I'm not shooting so crossbody. Sinking, cool. All right, now we're shooting the B3 Claw, my actual new release. And let's fling some arrows. And obviously the bow is a little bit more sighted in, but that doesn't mean that like I am sighted in quite in tune with this release yet. So yeah, I just barely got this not too long ago. So let's give her a shot. Let's give her a rip. I still need to do some finer tweaks with it, but let's just send some arrows down and it's crazy, like using two different types of releases, like back to back, just how much like you really need to sight in your bow to the system that you're using. Like this is so, like the other one, I was shooting a little bit more to the right. Now that I'm back shooting with this release, I'm definitely shooting more to the left. So I'm gonna shoot a couple more arrows with this and then I might even tweak it slightly. Yeah. Plus, one thing that I do like is that with this release and the index finger releases, typically with this like band, I can just take and flip it down and it's always there. Like my other one, I was always having to like put it in my pocket here, or I'd have to put it in my back pocket. Like I see people on YouTube that like will take and they'll have it in like their like binocular harness, and that's really cool. But me, I'm a pretty forgetful person, so something like this is really nice. I might see if they have like a release, and I've seen some that it's like this, but still more of like a thumb button style with the wrist. That would probably be like my type of release if I was to ever get one like that. Yeah, we have, I'm gonna shoot a couple more arrows to see if it's just me or whatnot. But I mean, I had 2 arrows touching, you know, like super, I mean, I get really nice groupings with this release, but it's because I'm used to it. Now, like, I'm not gonna contribute it all to the release. However, I will say that the repeatability of a release like this is definitely a lot better than like my old finger pinch releases, because, you know, when you have those 2 claws, and let me go grab the release to show you. So you can see right here, and one, there's that gap that that's exactly what I was fighting with. It's super small, but that's a lot more noticeable right there. But, so, let's see if I can get this. As I open this, you can see that like one starts moving beforehand. And so as like repeatability goes, like always having that variable that I have to think about, like that's one thing that I notice. But having just like one single axis moving from like one of these claw releases, and really, that's why people are switching to them, you know? Like I loved my release like this, but that single action, I mean, it's just always the same. So yeah, you can't go wrong with a single action. And they have some that's like there's a little plate off to the side that just holds it. Same thing though, like one piece is only moving. The other piece is just a solid piece of metal or whatever it's made out of that does not move. But this, with both of those claws opening, you can never always have like the same thing over and over again. So yeah, but I loved this release, and I had it for 12 years, and it never like failed me, you know. Like I think that's the nice thing about, especially where technology's at, you can't go wrong with hardly anything you have. Like, you just use what you got until you're like can justify, hey, this is what I need. Like, I probably would keep using my release like this had it not broke, or until like I really saw like a huge benefit. But I mean, customization of a release like this is just so nice. All right, here we go. Next, volley. I like that word, volley. All right. Plus also having a release like this, or any type of release, or whether you're using your fingers, whether you're using a mechanical release, you have to have good anchor points. Like for me, like, so let me draw this back. My anchor point, so when I get here, I just take and I put my back knuckle right underneath my jaw, and then I put my nose, just barely touching the string, and I put my lip right on the fletching of the feather. So every single time it's just consistent. So when I go to release the arrow, like the variable is me, you know, like it's not the release that's gonna send it. And as you continue to use your bow and use your arrows and all that, like it's just gonna become more, you're gonna become more in tune with it. This is just a tool, you know? So that's like one of the things that's why I'm using my bow that I started out with, right? This is gonna help me build the fundamentals before like any new bow will ever get me like the success, you know? The height is good, but I definitely pulled this arrow first. This is arrow number 1, 2, 3. Let's try it again. I want all 3 arrows to be right there. Arrow 1, you're up. And now I'm starting to get warmed up. Like, I don't even need to tweak my release really, or my sight. It's all just kind of me at this point. Figuring out my anchor points, figuring out all, like what I need to do. Like, I know that at times, and I don't know if you saw, I kind of like dropped my shoulders some. I really need to start doing that more, just to like really use my back instead of just using like my bicep and shoulder. So, but yeah, I really do like this release though. I think if you're just trying to get like a decent release that can do like what your intended goal is of shooting consistently and a lot more accurately and have a little bit more reliability, I definitely recommend getting a release that has just a single hook. Super easy. Like when I'm ready to shoot, I just put on that D-loop and I'm ready to pull back. Like the thumb button, I like it, but having to put it, like really force it through this little open, like this little gate, that was definitely like a learning curve for me. Obviously I'd get used to it, but for right now, I think I will just stick with this because I don't see a reason why not to. Also one thing is I feel like I have my hips like cocked sideways. Really just like forcing that hip forward right over top of that toe really like aligns me a lot better. But like 1, super good. 2, a little off. 3, a little off. Those are variables that I have to work on. The bow won't be able to fix that. The release won't be able to fix that. So yeah. A couple more rounds. I'm gonna stretch my arm and we'll talk a little bit. I think really the most important thing right now is focusing on my form and really just making sure I'm getting that anchor point every single time. And so, yeah, we'll just keep shooting. I'm gonna shoot from a different angle because I think it's important to look and see at all things of like what I'm doing. That's gonna make the most important of like me reviewing everything. So. Almost. Well, that's easily the best grouping I've done all day long. So I'll walk down there. I mean, they're almost all touching. This is easily the best grouping, and this just goes to show practice, 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 practice. Like these 3 arrows, I mean, they're pretty. I mean, I am very happy with this. I mean, besides the fact that it's slightly all off to the side, this is a grouping that I can like actually take and adjust my sight with, you know, but like, look at that, look at that. So I am actually gonna shoot one more round right where the sight's at and see if it's the sight that needs to be moved or if it's just me. But this, I mean, I'm quite happy with how that is looking right there. So that's a decent grouping. I really like those type of results. You can see this. Yeah, this is awesome. So this is the importance of repetition, you know. Having my release, like that's awesome, but yeah, no, I really like just how easy it is to use, and when I'm not using it, it just snaps out of the way. But I mean, I love this release, and for 40 bucks, like I can't beat it. Final remarks of the B3 Claw. I like it a lot. I really like the trigger action. I really like the customization. I like just how easy it is to use as someone who like doesn't have like a huge budget. And that's like super unique for, I think. All right, final remarks for the B3 Claw. I really like it. It has a really good like feel in the hand that is like, I could shoot this all day long. I really like the knurling on the index trigger right here. But I think as like a trigger release, I wouldn't get like one of the original like True Fires right off the get-go as like someone who really wants to take it as a long-term thing, you know. Like I think if you're just starting out with, you can't go wrong with it. Like I think the release is like $19.99, you know, and you could probably find a whole bunch about the same price range around there. But for like $40, I think like longevity, like the construction of this is just super solid. I'll have to do more like in the field stuff, like dropping it and seeing ease of cleaning. But I mean, for right now, it is such a solid, easy release that anyone can like totally just use themselves, you know. I don't mind it. Let's send one last set of arrows down there. Let's see how it goes. How you doing? Absolutely. Sure. Yeah, here. Give me one sec. Wanna come see? Yeah, and there's even like a smaller one over here that we could probably they probably wouldn't mind you using. It's nice. So this is a youth beginner like style practice bow. Okay. Do you want to try it?
Want to try one? Yeah, you do.
Hold in your left hand.
Your left hand?
Yep.
Here?
Yep. Grab one of the arrows.
Does it matter which way the
Nope.
feathers go?
Nope. Just as long as it clips in, you're gonna put it right in this little loop right here, okay? Okay, pull it in. Pull it in. Boom. Just like that. 3 fingers. Pull it back. Aim towards the target. Whoa.
Random.
Shoot another one.
Want to shoot another one?
Do another one.
Grab one. It's all you.
Good job.
Try a couple.
Good job. Pull it back. When you're ready. Woo! Take some practice. It takes a long time.
Okay. Do you think there's something you want to do? Is that something you want to keep doing? All right. Should we grab your arrows?
Do you want to shoot one?
I'm
Let's see how
lefty.
good.
I'm lefty.
Well, they probably have a left. Here, we'll hang it. If you just want to put it there, your dad's gonna have to use a pink bow.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're gonna be doing it before too long.
Yeah. It's super nice. And like my bow, so I got that one when I was 14, and I haven't had like a reason to like upgrade just yet. But I mean it.
Do you do archery or do you do any hunting with it?
I'm just getting into hunting with it. I have a recurve as well, and I use the recurve for small game, but next year I want to go out and try and get something bigger.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of that you just saw, but that's the reason why I want to do a YouTube channel. You know, I love archery. I really do. You know, it was such a good stress reliever for me growing up, and you know, I want something that, you know, like this channel is as much as like me growing, but I'm all about growth of people. And like my main job is juvenile corrections, you know? And I think of all the things that we can do as a society is just come together and share knowledge and share information. And, you know, me going out and just talking with that little kid and his dad, you know, who I wanted to get into archery, that's what I want this channel to be about, you know? Like, it's not, oh, this cool release. It's not about this cool, this bow, you know, this is me documenting getting into archery, getting into hunting and embracing like the culture and the people and the unity and just the connectedness that is the hunting, like the true hunting spirit, you know? That's probably my favorite part of the day of what I just did. You know, not me getting an okay grouping or whatever. It was me getting to share archery with someone, you know. So I hope you're at this point in the video. We're way off topic now, but this release is awesome. But really do like embrace archery for what it is, and it's the spirit, you know. Yeah, so thanks for the video today. I hope you learned something from it. I'm still new at this. It's all over the place, but I'm really excited. This is gonna be fun. So talk to you guys later. Go out and shoot, and thanks for joining me on the late season hunter. So bye guys.